On beautiful jellyfish, it's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time today to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. And this video is going to be interesting because I am trying something different in the sense of, one, I'm doing this experience, and number two, I'm filming this experience, where basically I'm going to try to go ahead and sell some stuff through Card Kingdom, and not sponsored by them or anything like that. This is just purely like me trying this out as a thing, and I kind of want to talk about like a little bit of why and all that sort of stuff. So these days, I have a pretty tight-knit group of people that I play Magic with, and the thing about and I love that so much. The thing about it is I'm not seeing as many people and playing with as many people as I usually have been. And the thing about that is that I'm not trading as frequently as I used to be. And so what's basically ended up happening is that I have two binders. The first thing I have is these, which I really like this. It's very big. It's one of the, oh gosh, we're upside down. It's one of these ones that has like the 4-and-4 sort of things. This is by Dex Protection. I have a smaller one too, and that has my higher, I was about to say higher CMC. That has my higher value cards, and then Paul's a binder too. And basically, we're running into this thing where Paul just doesn't really want to bring his trade binder most often, which is totally fair. And so kind of running into like this weird thing where like we're kind of just hanging on to cards, and some of them are like really cool. Like I have a really cool Sensei's Divining Top foil. I have like a foil Renin 6 and like cool things that a lot of people would be really excited to find. The other problem that I'm running into is that I am pretty much strictly only looking for foil Magic cards. And so I'm kind of like a hard person to trade with because I'm looking for very specific cards. Thus has run me into this problem where I'm like, okay, well, I have a lot of these cards and there's cards that I still want. What do I do about them? So I kind of have like two and a half, 3 options. The first option is to go through Card Kingdom. The second option is to go through a local game store in my area who does a basically very similar system where Card Kingdom, where you get like store credit if you like trade in your cards and things. The other option is I could bring them to like GPs and things like that and then do that. And so what I might end up, so I haven't done any of those options. I haven't traded in through cards in a really long time because my current LGS doesn't do this. They don't have singles and things, which I guess honestly is probably good for me because then I don't spend all my money on buying singles every week. So there you go. But anyways, I kind of wanted to take you guys along with this journey because I thought if I was someone who was starting out, what would I kind of like to be doing? You know what I mean? Also, I did Puka Trade real long time ago. And you remember Puka Trade? Is that still around? Okay, so I have no idea what I'm doing. And there you go. Okay, so my seller card is empty. So how do I do that? Let's press the button that sell your cards. Okay. Got extra cards? I have many extra cards. Let's search our sell list. Okay, can I just like type in cards? All right. Yeah, I got a Black Lotus laying around, don't y'all? To be very, can I actually be very honest with you guys? If I had a Black Lotus, I wouldn't know what to do with it, and I would definitely not want it because I don't need it. So I have a couple of random cards laying around right here, and I'm just gonna kind of like try this out. And I have a bunch of these like Staff of Nins. Like I actually have about 752 of them to be exact. And I guess we'll just press enter. And cool. Okay, so what I actually need to do first is I probably need to find out all the Staff of Nins that I have because, oh, I have foils and I have non-foils. Okay. All right, I want you to take a little bit of a guess about how many Staff of Nins you think I have. We'll give you a couple seconds. Okay, we have 5. I thought that I had way more and I'm a little like, where did all of the Staff of Nins go? But here we are. Okay. What am I doing? Okay, Staff of Nin. How many of the 2013 ones do I have? I have 2. Are these foil or non-foil? How do I know? Oh, it says foil right there. We're really good at this. Okay, quality to sell. The maximum is 20. I like this. They've like 27, 16, 21. I don't know why, but I'm finding that really funny. Okay, so I've got 2. And then I'm just going to put them aside over here, I guess. I don't know. And then I've got 3 of the, like, shiny ones, which are actually really nice, which are these ones. And I have 3 of them. Also, too, I don't know if I said this, but I'm only really going to be looking for a lot of the cheaper stuff right now, mainly because I just want to get rid of a handful. And I don't really know what my, like, limit of stuff that I want to do is. Also, keeping in mind I'm going to have to ship these and all that jazz, so I don't know how that's going to work. I also had 2 other kind of, like, random cards right here, so I'm just going to look those up really fast. I opened this in a pack, which was Faithbound Judge. If I'm typing weird, I promise it's not because I can't type. I'm actually a really great typer. The reason is because Zelda is... Can I actually show you guys? Yeah, that's my cat. She's like right on top of my keyboard. So anyways, that's my life. Okay, so I've got Innistrad. This is from Innistrad Crimson Vow. It's not the extended art, so we just got the one of those, and I'll probably sleeve all of these up too. I'm very particular about things. And then I also had this Grand Warlord Rod Hot. This is the what's it called? It's the pre-release promo. I had this in Reen, and I just, you know, decided to do that. So, and then it adds them all. This is cool. Okay. So anyways, so basically, so the other kind of like piece to this too is, and I'm gonna see what Paul wants to do basically, but he's got his binder right here, which I grabbed. And this is kind of beat up, it's kind of old, all that stuff. And the other thing too is like, he doesn't really want to bring it, so like, I don't mind personally, and so I kind of want to like consolidate and try to like possibly get rid of that as like an option or whatever. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go through our binders. I have, like I said, my expensive one, which I'm not even gonna touch. That's all the way over there, and I'm not even gonna bring that up. But I'm gonna go through my binder, and I'm gonna go through Paul's, and I'm gonna gather a bunch of cards, gonna throw in a little TV show, and take my time with it and add a couple things, and then I'll probably go through and like add the cards with you guys and all that stuff. And like I said, I'm kind of looking for more of the cheaper stuff. I'm not really looking for to get rid of a lot of the more expensive stuff. I'm just kind of trying to do like bulk. So anyways, I'm gonna go do that, and I will be back in a minute. All right, guys. So it is about an hour later, and I have gone through my binder and Paul's binder, and I have pulled out this many cards. And as you can see our total up there, basically what I am going to do now is, so it does this thing where it sorts it, as you can see, by set, but not in the order that like I did them. So basically I have to go through all of these. Let's see, it's 165 cards. It's quite a lot. But also too, I wanted to kind of chat a little bit about like selling cards and like losing out and stuff like this. And I guess like, yeah, of course, that's going to be like a part of it. But I also kind of want to like talk about it in the aspect of like, for example, like, and I'm just going to pull up this card because this is like the one card on top. But like this card is like Captain's Clause. We got this in a pack from whatever set this was. And like, you know, from whether it was from like a pre-release or a box or anything like that. And so like, yeah, there might be money like lost in this sense. I mean, a lot of these cards that we are getting rid of are definitely on like the cheaper side of things. But in this aspect, I mean, sometimes you open a pack and you get like a bulk rare and it's 20 cents and it is what it is, you know? But yeah, going through like the whole, so I guess what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like, it doesn't, like, there is like a loss, but at this point these cards are just sitting there not doing anything. I might as well get something out of it, is I guess kind of like my mentality behind it. And so for a while too, it was definitely like, oh, I don't want to like lose out, but then it's like, yeah, but there are times where like I've opened a pack and I've gotten a $40 card, and like that's obviously, you know, there's that, but then the next time it's like a 20-cent card. So it is what it is, you know. It's kind of the thing about, I guess, like opening cards and packs and stuff like that in particular. So these cards are just, to me, like, it's more wasteful if they're just going to sit in a binder and nobody is going to get them and like whatever. And too, I mean, there's cards in here that I'm like there's Commander staples that I think would be good. But again, like if my friends aren't building this is like a spirit card, Supreme Phantom, other spirits you can go puzzle this one. This is not a bad card, but like none of my friends are using it. And then they're taking cards that I feel like I've not seen anybody play with, and so that's cool. There were definitely some surprises on here, like this Kalia is like $2. This is not OG Kalia, this is Kalia's and its Seeker. So anyways, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm also gonna unsleeve these as I'm doing this because it mentioned that, and then what I'm going to transport them in for post office purposes is one of the fat pack boxes, because it did say that it does want you to sleeve all of the things, which is funny because like I feel like you would think, but I get why they're doing that because of you know, whatever. But this is what they look like By the time I probably unsleeve, it'll probably be like about half of the box. But anyways, so I'm gonna go unsleeve them and I'm gonna go put them in the order because they said very specifically it needs to be in the order that you put them in for that. And also too, one thing I do want to also note about this total is that these are the this price, for example. And so this is not the store credit, so this number is probably going to be even bigger, but also too, they're pricing everything at near mint. Not all of these cards are necessarily near mint. None of them are like wildly beat up or anything like that, but there's definitely some wear in these. So anyways, I will go do this and I will be back, but for me, it's going to be a while. For you guys, it's going to be like 2 seconds. So, okay, so I just went through unsleeving as well as reorganizing and making sure everything was in the right spot. I got my little stack. It's actually quite a large stack. And yeah, I unsleeved. A lot of these were actually sleeved. So I have to do that. And so now I guess we'll just like go to the next steps and we'll just like go through it together. Okay, so let's go to secure checkout. And we'll kind of see what the next steps are because I don't know. Okay, it looks like I'm going to fill this out. And then as you can see, there is the price difference because if you're doing store credit, which we are going to be doing store credit because that's what we're interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. But I also want to look up to like how to... what's it called? Like how to package this or whatever, because I'm going to be doing the thing. I actually think this might work it's a little tight. I wouldn't put this in a deck box. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it in here, but I want to see how to go about doing it because I just want them as safely as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out and I'm going to go ahead and look into like how to package it and I'll see you guys in a minute. One thing that it will let you do when you're pressing it is it'll let you see your payout before you do it, so you can then see the total. Because these are all under the assumption that they're near mint, I anticipate that this total is going to be lower than what it is. Another thing too that I was just looking up is like how to pack it, and it says like we don't want them to be loose, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some stuff into this to make sure that these cards are not, sorry, I don't know why I'm like going this way when like y'all are this way. I need to go ahead and make sure that this is packed. I just want to make sure that this is like as perfect as I can possibly be because this took me a while and I want to make sure that it is, it's done correctly and whatnot, and it's like the smoothest that it can be. But that's good to know that it's, they want you to pack and whatnot, and then also put your name in the order number. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up. All right, y'all, so it is a couple of weeks later or so since I shipped out my cards to Card Kingdom, and I kind of wanted to give you guys a couple of little updates and stuff about how the process went and all that sort of stuff. So I actually did not send it in the box that originally I was going to. I believe it was a fat pack box. Decided not to do that because they just didn't fill out basically enough. And so what we ended up doing is we have like leftover from when we played 60 card Magic. We have like those smaller deck boxes. So we ended up sending 2 of them. And so originally the total projected that we would get, basically, it was about $116. Got the total back, it was about $107, which I feel like is not super bad. A couple bucks off, which I definitely anticipated because I knew all those cards were not going to be in near mint. They give that price as like the maximum total that you could get, basically. So it's pretty unlikely, I would say, unless you're doing something or like you have a graded card or like something like that, that it just seemed pretty unlikely that we would be getting that full amount from it because cards get, little gypped up here or there or anything like that. But I did think that that was pretty solid, I feel like, for the amount. I was definitely really happy with that. In terms of time, I shipped it off. It was about $8 or so to ship, so take away that $8 from that $107, roughly about $100. And I feel like I shipped it on... I don't remember what day I shipped it on. I feel like it was a Friday, and then I got confirmation a couple of days later, and then maybe by that Friday or so, I think we got confirmation. So it took roughly about a week for it to get to shipment and then for the grade all the cards and go through it and whatnot. And I was, to be honest with you guys, I was really nervous, and I don't actually know if I showed it in the before part because I'm filming this part a couple of weeks later, but I was really nervous and I left this note and I was like, hey, this is my first time doing this. I hope everything was right, and I'm really sorry if it's not. I was really careful and I really went through and checked. So I tried really hard to make sure that that was, the case. Sorry, I just moved you guys a little bit. I felt like you were really far away from me, so brought you guys a little bit closer. But anyways, anyways, I kind of just want to talk about a couple of like general overviews and all that sort of stuff before I kind of dive more, but to finish kind of off this clip of the video. But I kind of just want to first start saying this, and I feel like I should have said this way before, and I will put this in the disclaimer, but I am not sponsored by this. I went on this through my own accord. I was inspired by my friend Matt, who basically had told me that this is a really great avenue. There is also a local card shop by us. I've only visited there once before, but basically, and they will do the same thing, very similar to Card Kingdom is what I've told. I haven't looked very in depth about their website and whatnot and how it works, the logistics, but they also do take cards and you can cash it in for store credit, or not cash it in, you could get store credit from that. The only problem is that I feel like at this point of my time, I'm looking for really specific cards, and I feel like trying to match that with a local game store sometimes doesn't always quite match up. So I was a little bit like, let's just see how this works and if this doesn't work and whatnot. But I feel like this was a really good experience overall. And I will say, I really hope that this video was helpful, because I feel like like I said, if I was in this situation, like I would have loved to have watched a video before just to know like what to do and like my experience and all that sort of stuff. I think the process takes time. It's gonna take a minute for you to go through. And listen, if you have a stack that like I, for example, had to go through our binders in depth and pull out cards and whatnot. And so gathering of those cards definitely took some time. And then the other thing too, as well, is, and I don't remember if I showed this, but basically I was sorting them in like a random order, in the sense of I was just pulling out cards. Like our cards aren't organized by set, but they organize stuff by set. And so what you're gonna have to do is, I had 170 cards total. And so what I ended up having to do is I had to take that stack, that pretty massive stack of cards, and I had to categorize it by sets. I had sets from all over. The other thing as well that it does when you're doing that is it will, let's just say, for example, I have like a pre-release foil. That's in a totally separate category. It doesn't categorize that from, let's just say it was like from M15. It doesn't categorize it as from M15. All your pre-release foils are like in the same category, and all that sort of stuff. So I would say if you're doing this, definitely carve out some time, because to me, it's one of those things that's better just to sit down and get it done, all that sort of stuff. The other thing I would also like to say is I personally think that this process is easier when you are going to sell or don't like get rid of a ton of cards at once. That way you're not running to the post office or anything like that. Our post office is kind of in a weird spot where it's like kind of sort of out of the way, and it's kind of like not really by other stuff that we go to. So it's, a little bit like there. And then also too, I don't know about y'all, but I just don't love going to the post office. It's not like a favorite place of mine. So that was just kind of one thing too. But I would say if you're going to do it, spend the time to do it and get rid of the bulk of the cards. I did. And it's so funny because, to be honest with you guys, when I went into this, I really thought, I was like, okay, I'm going to go with a pretty like small pile. Like that's what my vision was. I just wanted to test this out and see how it works. But I ended up obviously not, because it was 170 cards. So that's that. The other piece I was going to mention as well is you do get an extra 30% store credit if you're going to do this in store credit rather than cash. So if you're just planning on doing what I'm doing, where we're just going to have a little bit of a shopping spree, we're just going to go at it and we're just going to pick out some cards, there you go. Paul and I are actually going to split the value. I'm actually going to do this process again, and I'm going to go through, and I'm actually going to go through, this video is going to be up first, but I'm going to go through and declutter our box and get rid of some stuff there, as well as our binders as well, because I was kind of selective and picky and whatnot about what I did. So the other thing that I wanted to mention as well, and this is the last point I think, is I had all these thoughts in my head and I just had to get them all out there, is that I think this personally works best, and I feel like some people might disagree with me, and that's okay, about those I think this is a really great process for you on those lower value cards. Something that I also want to like keep y'all in mind of is, and wherever you guys play Magic and whoever you play Magic with, and maybe you have a really big group and maybe your group rotates all the time and you do trades all the time and whatever, that's just not my reality of the situation. I have a really tight-knit group of Magic friends right now, which is incredible. And I did a video recently on my Real Talk where I talked about my play group. I love the people I'm playing Magic with right now. I have an awesome group and I'm so excited. I love them all. And when we were playing, like, we don't do trades all the time, number one. Number two, if they don't want the stuff that's in there, you know what I mean, at that point. And again too, I'm also looking for really specific cards, so I'm kind of a hard person to trade with at this current stage of my time. Now, when I build new decks and I need new things and all that sort of stuff, that's definitely going to be a little bit of a different story when I, for example, I'm building a deck with my box, when looking through the box and I don't have, I have a lot of these pieces, but I don't have them in foil or something like that. But at this current stage, I have a lot of the stuff that I already need, which is awesome, or the stuff that I need is very inexpensive, or people just don't have those sorts of cards laying around pretty much. So that's kind of the thing that's kind of more of a me thing, I would just like to say, but I like doing this for lower value cards because it got rid of the bulk of the stuff. Now, I know that a lot of people feel really hesitant about doing something like this because, yes, are you losing value? And I said this before, but like, to me, that didn't really matter because those cards were just literally sitting there, guys. Like, I'm in my brain, and I know it's one of those things where like, am I really gaining value here? I mean, no. I mean, yeah, have we probably lost money in Magic cards? Totally. But like, there are cards that I have in my collection that I totally profited off of. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that aspect wasn't really as important. It just felt like this was like dead weight, just like sitting there, not really doing anything beneficial. So I really wanted to, deal with that and sort of get rid of a lot of those things and whatnot to make my life a lot easier. So I, that was just kind of my experience. But as for those more higher priced cards, I think what I would probably like to do with those is probably check a lot of those prices and see how much money and value I'm losing off of. Because I have some pretty cool stuff in my binder. Like, I've had this foil Ren and 6 for a while. That's really cool, but I don't need a foil Ren and 6. I have like a foil Sensei's Divining Top, which I know a lot of people would really love. So some of those cards I might hang on to, and I might in the future go through and go to like GPs and things like that. And, I might do something like that. I don't really know, to be honest with you guys, but, that's kind of my thing, is when there's a next event, I might like take, and I probably won't take like a ton of cards. I'll probably just, because I think that's kind of a lot, but, anyways, guys, I really hope that this video was helpful, and if you end up going and doing this process or whatever, definitely let me know your experience or whatever. This is just, like I said, I was just trying this, and I feel like I had a really great experience, and I'm definitely going to be doing this again, and I'm probably going to be getting rid of a ton in this next set is what I'm planning on doing. So, guys, that's it for me. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you on my next one.